Welcome back to another video. I am the Grumpy Dad. For those who are new here, welcome to my channel. And I joke that, I'm sorry that you lost your way and found yourself down this dark hole. But I am someone that tries to bring everything as real to you as possible. People say that's why they like my channel. Just hit 30,000 subscribers, so thank you. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider hitting the subscription button below so that you get all these updates about these projects. Also, just do me one favor, please hit that like button below. That will all push this Entropy video out and show Entropy your support and people will see that and think that you like Entropy. And that helps YouTube algorithm push this out to people who are searching about Entropy, its new miner, the new reiteration of it, Entropy A, and those things like that. And that can really help out the channel. Thank you. Just got finished doing a Thursday night live, as I call it. I do a live on Thursday night, 7 p.m. Central Time on YouTube, and pretty well attended for what I normally get on my channel. We had a good time discussing a lot of different new things. One new thing that was the hot topic was Entropy. Entropy has kind of made a big step into the future and just recently had some big news, some big updates, and we're going to go over them this evening. Not take too long in this video. Just want to show you what's going on with them and how to obtain it. So let's go ahead and get started with this video. So again, welcome. And tonight's video is going to be about Entropy. Entropy is kind of like a D-pin mining. That's what they kind of claim to be, is a D-pin mining project. Hashtag it's nothing, meaning you're basically mining nothing. But are you really? Because you're mining a token that is going back up in value after some price drops and a lot of new news that's coming out with this project. So I've been mining that project probably since about September. And at one time we were making about $30 a day mining that project. Since then, you've had some people who sold, even though Entropy does have what's called the second law. The second law is that you won't cheat or you won't sell. And I know that's going to sound kind of weird to anybody who's new here. And look, I'm not going to say to y'all, know that if you're familiar with my channel, I'm very truthful to y'all. I do say at some point that's got to change. It doesn't matter to me if you're making $100 a day or $1 a day. At some point when you're mining and involved in a project, you want to be able to sell. As of right now, you can't sell. You are allowed to sell just a tiny bit of a little bit, small percentages. But if you start selling too much, they have what's called the jeter deleter. So if you jeet or sell and you sell too much or a majority of your bag or anything like that, then you are removed from the project and no longer will be mining. The way we've been doing it is you would dig a hole, and you would see people digging holes on Twitter and on the Discords and stuff like that. They would submit it to Entropy. And if Entropy and some of the people involved in the project already, if they deemed it a worthy hole, meaning it looks like you put a little bit of effort into it, it wasn't an old hole, it was something new. Some people went really extravagant. You were given credits or cred, mining cred. You would then load that on a ESP32 device and you would mine that. Well, I mined for some time. Again, I got into this, I want to say around August. I'm looking right now about end of August, beginning of September. And at first, I thought it was a joke, like as in too good to be true. So looking back at my spreadsheets, I keep a spreadsheets of basically every week when I do my Monday videos. Every Monday I do a video where I go over all the projects we're in and kind of go over what we're making per day, per week, whatever like that. So yes, Entropy was my #1 project. And at first we were making $61 a day. A day. So this was October 7th. October 14th, we were making $56 a day. October 21st, making $41 a day. And it you know, of course, it comes down to reality to a point. But again, look at all these numbers of what I was making per day. This went on for like 2 or 3 months at this kind of range. $25 a day, $25 a day, $25 a day. And it, you know, it came down a little bit more as more people finally were listening and coming in. So in March, they announced that this new Entropy A version of the project, which stands for ASHLAR, which is the new miner. And basically, we were grandfathered in if we were already in there, but we still needed a NFT if we wanted to continue mining at some point when this is all turned on. So we could mint our own NFTs, pre-mint, and I'll be honest with you, I have no idea what we paid for them. We paid for 2 million ENT, which about the time was probably about $100 worth of ENT, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. Don't call me a liar. I just can't remember. I even look back at my video. I say where we did, you know, for 2 million. So I did a video on the new version, the new miner coming out from people who are already mining how to do NFTs. And we were told the miner would be about $99 for the new miner. So now anybody who wants to get into this project will need the new miner. You'll also need an NFT that's still not minted yet, but they're coming shortly. Also in the past, up until this point, you were only allowed one cred, one ESP32 device, unless you got deemed necessary, you know, special, and you were given an additional cred. I was given an additional cred for the videos and support that I did, and I do for you know, so I can let that disclaimer go. But again, I just had to buy another ESP32 device, which is about $6. Now with the new Entropy A announcement, we start learning new things about it. First, they will sell their new miners called the ASHLAR, and you have to have at least one NFT, an Entropy NFT to mine with it. Again, they're saying it was supposed to be about 99 USDC. We'll talk about that in a second. But another thing is, with this new thing, you are allowed unlimited devices now. You can go and buy 3 NFTs, 3 ASHLARs, and mine to your heart's content. So what gets announced today? The whole reason why we have this video that it took 10 minutes to get to. Helium Deploy is now taking standby list, whatever you want to call it, for ASHLAR miners. ASHLAR miners will drop on May 21st, which is approximately 5 days away as of the recording, at the time of recording this video. And they have 1,000 units available. So if you go to Helium Deploy, I'll have a link in this description. You can view the drop. And it says you have 1,000 units available, and you have to put your email address in right here. And if you look up here, you can see where it says reserve your spot, and you can put your email address in right here where you can be in line for one of those 1,000 units available. So they're saying that the expected delivery date will be sometime around June 20th. Hey, we know at most deep in projects, that's a wishful thinking, and it usually takes a little bit longer than that. Expected delivery date to the U.S. that we don't know if that means that it's coming to a warehouse on June 20th. Then has to be shipped snail mail from there, or if this should be arriving in our mailboxes on June 20th. We don't know. Either way, I'm telling you right now, I have signed up for one, and I'm going to pay for one. And unless somebody wants to send me one for free to demo and unbox, I'm not going to argue with y'all. But you do see that this is $139. Now, in the past, we've known Helium Deploy has raised prices a little bit with some of the other items that I have discussed on my channel, where Helium Deploy was a couple of dollars more than what some other places were. Hey, it's a business. I do have a code that you can use upon checkout. It's the same code we use for some of the other products. It will be in the description below. I'll even have a link below that you can click on. It's supposed to automatically provide my code. But again, you're not gonna be able to use that until it's time to check out. But you know, I think it's 10%. So what you gonna save? $13.90. It eats the shipping for you. But the biggest point of this is if you are going to get involved in this project, sign up now for one of these 1,000 units. Do it now before they sell out. So we know these new projects get popular. You know, Wingbits recently had like 2,000 of their devices that were shipped out, and now they're up to like 5,000 or something like that, 4,500 to 5,000 sold in just a little while. So we know, especially with the rewards we're getting, and if this price continues to go up and becomes more popular, more volumes going through it, and the price for that token goes up, you know, we're making 145,000 ENT per day. That price goes up for that token, your rewards are going to go up in value. And eventually at some point we should be able to sell. You know, they have this hashtag of miners eat first. I guess some of us don't understand what it is because you can't sell, but hey, I'm still mining every day on my $6 deep pin device, ESP32 device, knowing at some point I'm be able to sell. Now, what's cool about the new Entropy A program, which is what this is going to be called now, if you sell too much and the Jeter deleter gets you, you know, if you sell your bag of tokens, normally you're kicked out the project. However, now at Entropy A, if the Jeter deleter gets you, you can buy another mining NFT, cred. You can buy, I believe you might have to buy another ASHLAR. Don't quote me on that. I'm going to have to find that out. But with it, buying another NFT will get you back into the program again. You start accumulating it again. Now, with the current program, you have to burn what you sell. So if you know, I don't know what the Entropy A program, if you're going to have to also, when you come back in, burn equivalent to what you sold. But I know people who sold gigantic bags of this and now regret it because by the time they finish burning, it's going to be months down the line because they accumulated a good amount, especially in the beginning. A lot of those big whales have all sold at the bottom, you know, so they have locked a lot of liquidity in. They have a pretty good Entropy Solana pool if you're into that thing, and you can read all about it in the Discord. So I didn't want to, you know, I don't want to take too long in this video and make this a 30-minute video or not anything like that. The biggest thing is getting on Helium Deploy. As of right now, that's who's selling it. You also get the DPIN, free DPIN tracker program if you buy this device. Every hour, ASHLAR sends 64 bits of cryptographic randomness to the Entropy network. Grumpy calls it Entropy. I don't know why. I like it as Entropy. You know, here is, you know, this is a futuristic, looks like some brick out of some movie. This is a futuristic looking cool device, I have to say. I mean, it might take up a little bit too much space after a while. But, you know, I still think it's a cool, unless this is like a recharging port or something, because we know it's going to be 2.4 gigahertz wireless. So, you know, that's what the device looks like. I didn't really go over that too much. You know, that's a very futuristic, sleek. It's got a USB-C port in the back. So it's a very futuristic, sleek looking, I guess it's nothing, you know, it's got nothing written on it. So there you go. Again, 2.4 gig, this is your requirements, 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi. And you need, for those who aren't that tech savvy, you have to check to make sure that your device, your router at home or whatever is giving you Wi-Fi can do 2.4. I've recently ran into two different hosts for my Wingbits stations, and neither one of them, their ISP, they were running, you know, they got their wireless router from their ISP. It doesn't put out 2.4 gigahertz. I couldn't figure out why my devices couldn't see it. And I ended up having to start buying a 5 gigahertz USB dongle to stick into my Wingbits devices so that I can see their Wi-Fi. So please make sure you figure out if your device, your wireless router from your ISP is putting out 2.4 gigahertz. You will have a Solana wallet. I do suggest Phantom. It's a lot easier to connect to the Wingbits website. Entropy Acolytes NFT will be required to claim tokens. Those should be given out. So again, you need, not only do you need the miner, you will have to buy an NFT to mine. I don't know the cost of that NFT. I know it's going to cost more than what I was pre-mined for. I also know that these NFTs are going to be limited. First come, first serve. So that's why several people who are already in the program sold several amount, or minted several pre-mint NFTs, because they know they'll be able to sell them to y'all when the regular ones like this sell out. So it is compatible device that's worldwide. So you can read all about this. I don't want to make this video that much longer, but Entropy is a very cool project, a very passionate, I would say almost as passionate as the XRP army. I'm sure you can't go a day on Twitter without seeing something with just Entropy. They're very popular. Entropy's all over the place. You can't miss this pink stuff. Win 1 ASHLAR or 6. They're giving away 6 free ASHLAR units. Enter this contest to win. So you can go try it. You can try it out too. Ritual of randomness. And look down here. Wingbits WB200. GeoNet. So even Soarchain, God bless them. Bless the little hearts. But anyway, so my code also works on these devices if you want. Just to let y'all know, Wingbits, GeoNet, stuff like that. Another thing that you will get is Helium deploys DPIN tracker. You will get their DPIN tracker for that, for purchasing, and you will get the pro program of your DPIN tracker. This is obviously less than $500, so you'll get it for 3 months, or anything 500 plus, you'll get it for 6 months. So you can read more about all that at your own time. The biggest thing is make sure you get into the Entropy Discord and kind of learn what this is about. Some people get into this project and don't really understand the whole G to delete it thing and how that's going to work. And I'm wondering if it's going to be tweaked again as this miner and this new NFT gets released. But that's it. That basically what this was about is getting on Helium Deploy while they still got 1,000 units available. Well, I'm sure there's a lot less now, because this has been all over X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. But go check out your Entropy. With this, you don't have to worry about digging your holes anymore. You'll be able to just buy the NFT, buy the miner, and now you're in the program. They still have people submitting holes. And if you submit your hole, then from what I understand, you won't need an NFT. If you submit your hole and it's approved with great effort, I'm sure you're going to need for those holes. But either way, there are people who right now are still getting their holes approved, and can still put that as of right now on an ESP32 device, I think. Don't quote me on that. So one thing I do remember also, as I'm going over my notes, if somebody is currently mining an ESP32, but they missed a pre-mint, all they have to do is get a hold of an NFT. They can continue mining with their ESP32 device. They will not be required to buy a miner. So if you're already using an ESP32 device, you can continue using your ESP32 device, unless you just want to buy the ASHLAR for some reason and use that. So I'll be buying one and then adding it to my pool of ESP32 devices behind me. So for those also who have been, like I said earlier, kicked out of this project because they sold their whole bags and stuff like that, the deleter got them, or they got caught cheating by using fake names on Discord to get multiple credits and stuff like that, and you got booted from the project. They're giving you a clean slate that you can start again as long as you buy the mining NFT and you buy an ASHLAR miner. You'll be able to get started again. Or you can buy multiple. Going over my notes again, I'm finding some different things out. Conversations we've had over a couple of weeks, days, whatever. But if you're mining, you start mining with the new NFT and the new ASHLAR, and then you sell your whole bag and you get deleted, not only will you have to buy an NFT to get back in, but you will have to buy a new ASHLAR miner. So I'm thinking that your NFT will be married to that ASHLAR. So if something happens to that cred, that NFT, the ASHLAR is now just basically a pretty little desktop ornament, and that's about it. You'll have to buy both the NFT and the ASHLAR again. So it looks like I'm reading also that there will only be 10,000 mining NFTs released. That's why they were telling people who are already in the project to mine several NFTs because they would need them for themselves, but they would also be able to sell those NFTs when the first batch of 10,000 gets sold out. There won't be any more than that from the ENTROPY team. Then you will have to buy them from other people. So that just to let you know. So for anybody who, is out there thinking that they're going to go buy the NFT, I wouldn't wait too long because they are limited also. But I think that's about that. I think that about wraps it up. It's getting late here. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning. But I wanted to get this news out because I don't want anybody to miss out on these ASHLAR miners. It's supposed to be a limit of, I think 10,000 miners or something like that. So this will be the first batch that is being sold out. Unknown how long it's going to be until the next batch comes in, or other distributors are going to have it, or what. We don't have that. This is just me reading what's on the website and on the Discords and bringing it to y'all. So you want an ASHLAR miner, get the Helium deploy, link in the description below, and you can get a hold of, or get the waiting list, and then purchase it when it comes in. And then there'll also be news on, and I'll be doing a video on how to purchase your NFT to start mining. And we'll cross that bridge when it comes. So I hope everybody has a good weekend, and see y'all in the next video.